I'm here with the Don't Touch Racing team, Bradley Smith racing in the Iveco this year under the number 11, and his father Tony as well. Bradley, interesting season for you so far. Even though we're not all the way through, you've definitely had a season of two halves, haven't you, with a busy and very successful first half, but then it's levelled out a little bit, hasn't it? Talk us through it.
Yeah, everyone's been struggling since come back off summer break a little bit, but yeah, everyone's up their game, so everyone's doing well, which is it's good for like the TV and everyone watching online. So yeah, looking forward to the rest of the weekend and the final two rounds.
And Tony, what's it been like watching your lad come from the British Championship, making his debut with Don't Touch Racing, joining these guys and, being right at the top of the championship still at this stage?
Well, I think he's had an unbelievable season. We weren't expecting results that he got beginning of the year, and the team are well pleased with him. I'm pleased with him. So he just he's got to up his game, try a bit harder, get his arms and shoulders out, and do what he can. So brilliant.
Yeah, good stuff. And Bradley, obviously you've gone from racing in the MAN in previous series. You were still in the MAN at the end of last year, weren't you, with these guys? Has it been different to learn a truck that's obviously of a different brand? Is there many differences to figure out?
Yeah, the main thing for me was the braking system. It's completely different to my MAN. The Ivecos have a lot harder pedal than the MAN, so it took me a while to get used to, but we're getting there now. It's a good truck, good reliable truck, so I love it.
And what's it been like, the step up in terms of having the team around you, change of personnel and all that? Has it been much of a shock to the system, or has it been like putting on a good old pair of slippers?
Yeah, good pair of slippers. No, we had a good team back in England, but this team's unbelievable. Ralph's, our data engineer, is really good. Sven and all the experience of the mechanics, and we just overcome all the problems as quick as we can, and it's been really good.
And what about you, Tony? Have you enjoyed the switch and the sort of up in level to come here to the European Championship?
Yeah, I've enjoyed not driving an Arctic all around Europe from destination to destination, trying to hold a map book to see which road I'm supposed to be going down to next circuit next, But no, it was really good last year, and Sven's been amazing with Bradley. He put his trust in him, and Bradley's just got to full perform and keep up his game, really. So.
And does a lot of the change come from the pressure of leading the championship, or are you not really doing much of the maths as the weekend goes on?
No, we're not. It's mainly learning year for us, so I haven't really been tallying up the points and all that, so just take it race by race. Yeah. You just got to give it your all in every race, so it doesn't really matter. No point looking at the points, just get in it, try and pedal it for 12 flat out laps and see where you finish.
But I mean, you said yourself, it's great for the entertainment, but I mean, for all of us, it's been such a great fight in Chrome this year, and it's still going on. It must be still even exciting for you guys, even if the race doesn't go your way. It must still be exciting to see that you're part of that. Yeah,
definitely, and I think it's probably going to go down to Harama, the last race, so it's going to be a good racing for everyone to watch.
Yeah. And obviously as well, Tony, there's a lot of rivals here that you've had in the past as a team with the British Championships as well, and drivers also coming over from the UK. It must be quite nice to still share these moments with them.
Yeah. No, they're all a good racing gang, and I've really enjoyed the going around talking with them of a night. They've been helpful with Bradley and really introduced us to this, the events, and it's been good fun.
Every team's different. Every single team's welcomed us in and with open arms, help us out if you need parts, so just throw parts at you, just anything, come in, come in for a drink, chat. It's just, everyone's been amazing.
And it's been good with Joe because he's come from our team in England, and he's learning with the Germans, with Mika and all the mechanics, and they've just all got together and worked together as a team, and it's nice to see him get on well with everyone as well. So
I bet it's been fun to get him, try and understand him with that accent, to be honest, hasn't it? In all honesty, but that's one of the best things is we always talk about the one truck family here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, but it's not just something we say for fun, is it? It's part of just how it all goes.
No, it definitely is. Definitely a one truck family. Everyone chips in. Everyone does their bit. Everyone makes everyone welcome. Like big competition, you'd still lend them parts to get them out on track. So no, it's good. It's a really good series.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, gentlemen, and obviously best of luck for the rest of the weekend, and hopefully we'll have another chat with you soon at somewhere like Harama.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
Cheers. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and welcome back to the grid here at Circuit Zolder for the second race of the 6th round of the championship here in 2025. We've had interesting conditions throughout the start of this day and a rather stable race one, it's safe to say. There's been a few penalties handed out in between the races as well. There's been 5 seconds here, 5 seconds there, but no major changes of position. Luke Garrett did drop down a few spots in the Chrome battle, and obviously René Reinert dropped down quite a few positions after his 10-second penalty that he received earlier on. I'm stood here at the front of the grid. The grid walk is just beginning now and everybody is going to make their way down, but we're going to have a quick word with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who starts this race from pole position. Now, he obviously had a bit of a difficult start to his day earlier on, but he's now on the very front row. Jose Eduardo, good to see you. Considering how difficult the start of your day was, not bad to be on pole position. You must be quite pleased.
Yeah, I have a difficult start in the morning, but I changed my mind and try to be calm and get some place in the race. And now I start in the pole position. I try to secure my position and, if it's possible, win.
I was going to say that third win of the season for you on the horizon. What was it like fighting through the pack in that first race? Because it looks difficult to overtake around here.
Yeah, this track is very difficult to overtake. I need to be calm in the turns and try to don't touch in the other concurrents. But I try to be clear in my mind. I need to pole in the second race, and I try and I stay here.
Well, best of luck. Hope you enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
So Jose Eduardo Rodriguez then starting from pole position here on the front row at Zolder. It's very important to be on the inside line here because it's a left-hander at turn 1. The interesting thing is, though, that it's then 3 right-handers around that first section at the start of the lap. So they have to really be sure that they've got that lead secured by the time they get down to turn 2. As you can see, the grid is filling up with wonderful personnel here, and it's a very, very narrow and tight grid. It's really interesting to see, actually. We will go over and have a quick word with Clemens Hecker, and I do want to point something out because I was talking to the team just as we came down to the grid. I'm a humongous nerd about stickers and sponsors and things on trucks, and I noticed that this is not the standard issue number 2. It's actually a number 5 that they've put the other way around. They confirmed that for me earlier on. I'm that much of a nerd about these stickers. Let's have a quick see whether we can have a chat. Sorry, Jill. With Mr. Clemens Hecker, you had a busy first race and obviously another win in Chrome, right up there in the championship fight now. 1 point away. You must be confident for this one, surely.
We are 1 point away.
1 point off P1.
Okay, but we have some more weekends.
You confident then? Yeah, happy after that one? You seem it?
Yeah, the race was great, so we got a pace, but my brakes on the rear axle went up to 800 degrees.
Oh, wow.
So.
Fingers crossed it all works then for the end.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Us too. Have a good one. Thank you. Right, so in just a moment we're going to be going quiet here at Zolder, which is not often for me actually, and you can ask anybody that knows me that. But we will be going quiet to welcome our international TV audience from around the world. If you stay with us on our live stream, obviously we'll then be having a good chat with some more people from the grid and speaking to a few more drivers. I'm going to line up some interviews and see who we've got to have a chat with. So I'm going to go quiet now. We're going to enjoy the grid walk, play a little an introduction for our TV audience, and we'll be back with you in a second.
Aber
Hello everybody, welcome to our international TV spectators from around the world, and welcome to the front row of the grid here at Circuit Zolder and the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. This is our 6th race meeting of the season, and this is our 2nd race of the weekend. We had a pretty stable race one, as I described it earlier on, but the drivers had a bit of a tough challenge between the races with some penalties being handed out. One driver that didn't get a penalty, probably the only driver on the grid that didn't get one actually, is Mark Taylor. Mark, you're starting from the front row once again with your old rival Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. You had a great fight with him last year in Chrome. It's a bit of familiar territory for you now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But we're teammates, so we don't want to be knocking each other off. we want to go on the team's podium as well. So that's the aim of this race. Try and keep on the track, keep a good clean race, and hopefully we'll both get podiums and we'll both get the team podium as well.
Well, you've obviously had a lot of work between races as well in fixing the truck from Most. So a lot of hard work is coming to fruition here this weekend, isn't it? So it's all about chipping away at those points as well.
Yeah, definitely. We've had too many DNFs this year, so now we're on to the last 3 races. So it's time to start getting some end points back what we've been losing.
Yeah. Everybody starts doing the maths around this time of the season, don't they?
I'm trying not to. I'm trying to go out with a clean head every time.
Well, I'll leave you to have a clean head, mate, and you enjoy the race.
Cheers, thanks.
Mark Taylor there, starting on the front row of the grid. Like he says, teammates with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. They've both got these wonderful stickers on the trucks that they have. They are in the same place on the trucks as well, which, like I say, with me being a huge nerd about stickers, that makes me a very happy bunny. We'll keep walking down the grid, and we'll try and speak to Steffi Halm, who last time out ended up getting a race victory at Most in the 4th race of the weekend. I had a quick chat with her earlier on during the autograph session in the earlier parts of the weekend, and she said that she was always happy and confident for a victory. Steffi, second row of the grid for you in this one. Always in the fight, aren't you, in these second races?
Yeah, you know, second row is not that bad, but also the fast ones are coming from the back. So I try to make a good start, maybe gain a position or 2, and then hopefully we can make a clear race.
And it's always difficult to overtake around here, isn't it, despite having a lot of heavy braking zones as well?
Yeah, for sure. You know, in the beginning, it's the track is big enough, but in the back, it's very tight and it's not so easy to overtake, even if you're faster.
And obviously, the very British question: what about the weather? It changes very quickly here, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure, because we have always the wind, so the condition can change very quick. But me, I don't care. If it starts to rain, it should rain a lot and not just a little bit.
That's the best thing. No grey area. It's either full rain or full sunshine, yeah?
Yeah, like that. Dry condition or wet.
Well, we hope you enjoy the race, Steffi. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Okay, Steffi, starting from the second row of the grid, as she says, not that bad as she describes it. How about a word with Tony Idden? You look pleased to see me as ever. How's the weekend going from your perspective?
Peaceful, quiet.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm
Well.
beginning to worry.
Yeah, what's coming up next? You know, it's a great circuit, this, isn't it, Zolder? It's a wonderful place to be. It seems like quite a, I don't want to use the word intimate, but it's a friendly and welcoming circuit.
It is totally embraced by concrete walls. It makes it an interesting race and close racing. Yeah, it's good. Always is.
Always good to see you, Tony. Absolute pleasure. Enjoy your weekend.
Okay, take care.
So, why don't we move one row further back? We'll stay with this side of the grid, shall we, and stay on the left-hand side, and we'll have a word with Jochen Hahn, who finished that race in 3rd position. Now, he had a great battle with Sascha Lenz in that one. Jochen, hello again, my friend. How are you feeling ahead of this one? 3rd place last time and a good battle with Sascha. Same again?
And then what we do, we make racing. And in this race, I have many fun. We fight, and it's on a high level, very fair, you know. Yeah. One time I try to do, I'm too late. I think, okay, that happens. But in the end, it's, you know, it's a sense of racing. Yeah. To have a battle, to do it fair, to do it without big crashes. And from this side, I'm really happy with the race. Yeah.
And that's the thing, isn't it? You guys have been racing against each other for a long time now, so you can be confident that it's always going to be clean and fair.
Yeah, but this is the sense of racing, you know. You need this small respect. Yeah. And also he make a good time practice, so he's in position 2. You must respect it on the start, you must respect it on the overtaking, but I try to do, it's clear. Yeah? But no, that's why I can say nothing, and I'm really happy with the day. So we will see the second race, and again, racing, fighting.
Well, best of luck, Jochen. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers. So Jochen Hahn then starting from the 3rd row of the grid this time, but still, it's a massive long run down towards turn 1, and these guys are going to make the most of it. We're going to have a look back now at the highlights from race 1. I'm going to take a run up to my commentary box, catch my breath, and I'll speak to you in a few. Had Norbert Kirsch on pole position, but Sascha Lenz alongside him. Who's that guy? Sascha Lenz alongside him on the front row of the grid. It was very exciting for him and the team to get some strong points and a decent result from this first outing. We had our beautiful Iveco SE-Way pace truck leading us around. The engineers did their customary shout as everyone crossed the line. An unfortunate moment for Stefan Kirsch to drop down the order off the first couple of corners. Stefan Faas would also go on to have a difficult race with a drive-through penalty due to the penalty markers here at Zolder. The track limit's very difficult to adhere to in a truck. Clemens Hecker had a great start and managed to just pull away at the front of the Chrome class, while his competitors all battled behind him. Jonathan Andre with a lovely slide there. He and Bradley Smith had a good scrap, but unfortunately, Jonathan would drop down the order a little bit later on into the race. I might have to go and ask him what happened there. We didn't see that one. Louis Requenco off the road with Rene Reinert going down the inside. Rene drove a great race through the order, a really lovely drive, but unfortunately, due to overspeeding, he lost 10 seconds and would drop down out of contention for the reverse grid. Sascha Lenz across the gravel fighting with Jochen Hahn. They had a really good time though by the look of it, and I'm sure there'll be many laughs shared between those guys in the paddock later. Stefan Faas was defending from John Newell before then getting his drive-through penalty, but Norbert Kish takes win number 14 here in 2025 ahead of Sascha Lenz and Jochen Hahn. I tell you, I should definitely have run back to the commentary box a bit faster than that. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott now in the commentary box here at Circuit Zolder. And as you can see, the grid is now being cleared ahead of race number 2 of the day. We have the official truck out on track, which is the beautiful Ford F-Max. Mae Fisher at the wheel, flashing the lights, sounding the horn, and having a good old time on the way. As I said earlier, we had a couple of penalties after the first race of the day. There was 5 seconds handed to Luke Garrett. He got a penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage, whereas it was Jose Eduardo Rodriguez who also had a penalty for forcing another truck off the track. So basically, both of them equaled each other's penalties for the same incident. They both did something in the same moment. But right now, it's a case of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez still being on pole position and Mark Taylor being alongside him. Like Mark said, the two of them may be teammates, but they still have to fight for their own points. They just need to make sure that they keep it clean. This Ford F-Max was designed and tested by over 500 Ford engineers over a 500-year period. They've not been developing it that long. A 5-year period. Testing was in 11 countries and 4 continents. This is Zolder, one of the best circuits in Europe, if you ask me. A wonderful place. Lots of chicanes, some high-speed corners as well to think about in the first sector, but also some hard braking zones into the likes of the Villeneuve chicane, the Boulderberg Haasbelt Bocht, and of course the Jackie X Bocht at the end of the lap. The start-finish straight, not the longest straight on the circuit, but from where we stand on the grid, from where I was doing those interviews, it really does feel like a long run down there, and especially with a rolling start. Not long after that final chicane, you are flat on the throttle for quite a long time before getting onto the brakes. The air temperature is 18 degrees at the moment. Not sure if you could quite tell, but even in the break between the races, I, in typical British fashion, managed to still somehow get sunburnt. And there is Stefan Faas in the 24. They disassembled that truck basically completely between races. And now he will be starting from the pit lane, unfortunately. He had an issue and penalties that then, well, basically confirmed that the truck was still not running right, and then had a drive-through penalty. He was speeding in the pit lane when he did so. He got all manner of penalties in that one, did Stefan Faas. So even though the truck was running, it was still a difficult start to the day. As you can see then, the Iveco SE-Way will lead us away from the grid. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Mark Taylor start on the front row. Great stuff for their team championship hopes. They want to try and get onto the team championship podium. And we'll see whether they can manage that. And obviously Mark wanting to take the win in the Chrome class here in this race as well. As we are led away by the aforementioned Iveco SE-Way, 100% electric Iveco machine. Beautifully presented truck, and we are very grateful to Iveco for being a continued sponsor and partner of this championship, providing us with these new technologies for our pace trucks, highlighting the sustainability message behind the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Not only do we run the trucks on 100% renewable HVO diesel, we of course have electric and bio-LNG powered pace trucks as well. Beautiful scenes there, as you can see just how quickly the cloud rolls over this circuit. We always have the wind, as Steffi said as well, so you never really escape the weather. It can come over in the matter of a minute. But the circuit, much like Most, is quite geographically long as well. From one end of the track to the other is quite a large distance. It's quite a narrow and skinny track in terms of a map. So you can have different weather at both ends, but it's very often the case that it blows from the southwest and up across the circuit. So it's always that turns 1, 2, 3 and 4 get the weather first. So we're looking at the reverse grid. It's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on pole position. And then alongside him on that front row is Mark Taylor, who we spoke to just earlier. Clemens Hecker is in third position. Steffi Halm in fourth place. Antonio Albacete due to start in fifth, with Jochen Hahn in sixth position. Sascha Lenz will be seventh, ahead of Norbert Kisch. And then next up, Louis Riquenco and Bradley Smith. In fact, it's René Reinert that's dropped the multiple positions. Apologies. He will start from ninth on the grid alongside Louis Riquenco. Then Bradley Smith will start alongside his countryman John Newell. Luke Garrett dropped his positions, obviously, with his 5-second penalty earlier. He'll start this race from 13th on the grid. Then it'll be 14th place for Jonathan Andre. Stefan Faas will start from the pit lane, and Stefan Kirsch, as you see them there, will start in front of him. So 15th and 16th for those two, respectively. Doing quite a high-speed warm-up or green flag lap or formation lap, however you want to call it. Quite a high-speed one there, actually, for Stefan, as he catches up with the tail end of the order and just makes sure that he forms up in time. They have to make sure that they're all within a certain distance so that they can hold the right speed. And a lot of the time, they don't tend to hold off the throttle and sort of build it up. They tend to be really hard down on the throttle to build up the boost pressure in the turbochargers and then hold the brakes. So a lot of the time, they're ready to unleash all the power of these trucks, and it's managing the machine on the brakes is how they go about the start. Let's go about the start all together then, shall we? Race number 2 in round 6 of the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is underway, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Mark Taylor from the front row. A bit of shifting in the background there as Stefan Kirsch goes left and then goes right. Clemens Hecker down the inside for second place overall and the class lead. Tries to get that off Mark Taylor round the first corner. It doesn't look like it's worked this time. Mark is on the inside for turn 2. Steffi Halm putting her nose down the inside there to get that move across. Jochen Hahn having to defend from Antonio Albacete as well. Looking very feisty in the mid-pack as they head towards the Lucien Bianchi box for the first time. Steffi Halm down the inside of Clemens Hecker. Norbert Kisch looking down the inside of Antonio Albacete as well. As, whoa, Clemens Hecker running wide through the right-hander. Has a bit of a wobble as he recovers to the circuit. Sascha Lenz has lost out to Norbert Kisch, and it looks like Antonio Albacete has as well. Side by side for the two teammates. Big lock-up into the chicane. I couldn't quite tell whether that was Norby's front left or Antonio's front right. Either way, they've all made it through by the look of it. I can just actually turn round and look out of my window because the office here has got a fantastic view over the hill. Bradley Smith has lost a bit of bodywork from the front right of the machine. But great battling and still clean stuff in the opening moments. But Clemens Hecker has let all of the Titan drivers through from the top 8. So he's unfortunately given that away a bit easily there with that moment on the exit of turn 3. But at the front, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez hoping to run away to his 3rd victory of the season. Mark Taylor leading in the Chrome class. Will happily stay there, I'm sure. Clemens Hecker, there was the next threat to him in that class, and then it was a good few Titan drivers before Louis Riquenco. But yeah, Clemens Hecker has dropped down to 8th position after starting in 3rd on the grid. He's got René Reinert right behind him now, and then Louis Riquenco one position after that. So Mark Taylor has a good 6-position lead when it comes to the Chrome trucks with the Titans between them. There is Taylor with Steffi Halm right behind. Looks like Luke Garrett was looking down the inside of John Newell just a moment ago. Luke and the team will have been devastated to have lost that podium position that they scored earlier on. Mark Taylor now under attack from Steffi Halm and Jochen Hahn, the two Ivecos from De Bullen von Iveco going past him. But I think Mark is playing the bigger picture here. He's playing the big game, thinking about the long term and thinking, you know what, I don't need to fight these guys for championship points. I just need to have a clean race without any major dramas. Looks like he's still side by side with Jochen Hahn. They're just about to come past my window. No, he's slid in behind him, just in front of Albacete, just in front of Norbert Kisch. As Norby, well, he was later on the brakes and had to look down the inside. That was more an avoidance than anything from Norbert Kisch. Sascha Lenz just behind them in the mix as well. Looks like there's been a little bit of a moment between Clemens Hecker and Rene Reinert as they left the chicane. I think they just got a little bit friendly, and they still are being friendly as they head down. It looks like Clemens gets another little bit of a tap there on the way into the Villeneuve chicane. Looks like he's got, I'm not sure if it's just a visual thing, but it seemed like that front right wheel was slightly damaged. It didn't look like it was perfectly round. I'm not quite sure if it's just got a small piece of rubber on it, and that gives the illusion that it's not quite rounded. Hopefully nothing major to affect their championship, because, like I said at the start of the broadcast, he is now only 1 point behind Bradley Smith, who is having another tough race here. I spoke to one of his mechanics earlier who said that, you know, things are continually getting better. They went a bit too far in one direction with the setup, so they've had to dial it back again and get the truck in a much more stable baseline for Bradley to get in the rhythm with. But on top of that, Bradley not feeling his best this weekend. He's not well, bless him, so he's been struggling with that. On top of that, having to race as well is, very tough on the body. So hats off to Bradley for still pushing on. On that note as well, unfortunately, we don't have Christian Ruppert here this weekend, which is a big shame. Antonio Albacete and Mark Taylor are getting friendly up there, aren't they? On the exit of turn 3, Mark is almost completely off the side of the circuit. Norbert Kisch hoping to come through as well, side by side down towards Lucien Bianchi-Bocht, and Mark is all the way on the outside with Sascha Lenz now looking down the inside as well. All of a sudden, all of the Titan drivers are getting past Mark as quickly as possible. Norby just looking down the inside of Antonio there. Doesn't work this time round, but he stays behind his ex-teammate, the Spaniard at T-Sport Bernau. Up over the crest. I love that shot from the bottom of the bridge. Antonio into the Villeneuve chicane, doing everything he can do to keep it tidy. There's a great battle going on in the Chrome class, by the way. I just heard a big tyre screech out of my window and had a look. And John Newell, Jonathan Andre, Bradley Smith, all of them together and having a real ding-dong, as we'd say. I think John Newell has lost a couple of places, actually, as a result of some battling. He's gone from 11th to 13th in this opening sector. But at the moment, it's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez continuing to lead the way with Steffi Halm in second place, Jochen Hahn third, Antonio Albacete in fourth. Norbert Kisch currently running in 5th place, trying to get down the inside of Antonio. There they go into the chicane. Norby is late on the brakes, as he ever is. It's one of the places where that truck succeeds the most. And he is through, up into 4th position. He's got some ground to make up to get back up to the leaders, but just looking at the gaps, he is 5.5 seconds off at present. We've had a black and white flag for Stefan Kirsch, 2 of them actually, for hitting the penalty markers at turns 12 and 16, which is into the final corners, actually. That's the Boulderberg Harshbell box, the hairpin, and then the last chicane. In terms of Chrome, it's still Mark Taylor leading the way from Clemens Hecker, from Louis Riquenco, so the 3 of them are holding station in their necessary positions. Jochen Hahn isn't wanting to hold station, though. He wants to get past his teammate, Steffi Halm. But Steffi can smell a victory. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has been coming down on the lap times, to be fair, but he was still a little bit slower than Steffi on that last lap. All of this racing going on, of course, powered by 100% renewable HVO diesel, which is in all of our race trucks. Big thanks to our partner Total Energies for being such a stalwart of that sustainability message of the championship. Stefan Kirsch has got Stefan Fast right behind him there at the back of this, so these guys are waiting to pounce if the two Brits of Bradley Smith and John Newell make any contact. The two of them have raced a lot together in the British Championship. As I said to Bradley during his interview, you know, the changeover to Iveco from MAN, the different braking capability, has been quite the talking point for Bradley, something for him to get used to. And apparently John Newell has a puncture on the rear. I couldn't quite see that from the feed, but yeah, apparently the rear tyre has gone down. Now these trucks, they have 4 wheels on the back, so as long as the inner tyre isn't deflated, then if it's just one of the outer tyres, they tend to carry on at 90% pace. So they're able to still run at a very respectable speed, but it just makes life that little bit more difficult trying to get the traction down out of the corner. Mark Taylor there with Rene Reinert just behind him. That's 7th and 8th position. Doesn't mean as much in race 2 as it does in race 1. There's no reverse grid based on this result. Looking at the lap times, it was a 1:57.7 for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez last time round. Steffi Halm, a 1:58.3, so 0.6 off. 3 seconds slower than Jochen Hahn, but Norbert Kisch, 1:56.59. So he was, 1.8 seconds quicker than Steffi Halm on that last lap. There is the big red MAN of Reveche Racing looming in the background. It's the big blue MAN that's leading the way at the moment of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. It was good to catch up with him before the race. He's a very confident young man, a really solid performer. Stefan Fast, by the way, has gotten ahead of John Newell. I think John has had a drama somewhere. I was just having a quick look, actually, but it looks like John's got back past Stefan Kirsch. I couldn't quite see him go by out the window, though. I'll have to try and keep an eye out on that. Bradley Smith has had the missing bodywork reported on the front right. Here's a look at what happened then. Stefan Kirsch, he'd gotten through on those guys and he ran wide on the exit. And then John manages to just skip by. But Stefan Fast ahead of Bradley Smith as well in all of that. Looks like Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has lost a bit of time to the trucks behind. Let's have a look at that last lap. Yeah, 0.4 of a second. Steffi Halm was quicker. Jochen Hahn was 0.3 of a second quicker, and Norbert Kisch 0.7 of a second quicker. So Norby is catching Jochen, who is catching Steffi, who is catching Jose Eduardo. So that is definitely developing at the front of the field. We're at the halfway point of this race now. The timer in the top left tells you how many laps we've completed. We've done 5, so we're obviously on lap 6 now. 6 more to go. And Norbert Kisch at this point is 3.6 seconds off the lead, which at any other circuit would lead you to think he's probably still going to win this race. But here at Zolder, it is very tough to overtake. But who else but Norby? Norby certainly knows what to do. Jochen moving around a lot there behind Steffi Halm, just showing his nose and saying, look, I have intentions to overtake you. He's got a good run on the exit of the Kleiner chicane, but Steffi all the way over to the right says no thank you. Will we see Jochen make a move down the inside here like he did on Sasha Lenz in the earlier race? Yes, he will. Down the inside it goes. Steffi gives loads of room. Penalty marker gets clipped. Flying formation by the Ivecos, and Jochen Hahn goes through. Lovely move. Great respect from Steffi there as well, though, to leave the space down the inside. And on the exit as well. Didn't crowd Jochen out and off the circuit. That was great racing by the pair of them. Sure, they're teammates, but at the same time, they have to fight for their respective individual championship efforts, and now Steffi Halm has been thrown into a defence against Norbert Kisch. And the reigning champion will hope to get the job done sooner rather than later. It looks like he's already looking down the inside. I think he'll maybe take a lap or two here to assess this. He knows he's got the pace advantage, but he doesn't want to get too eager and overdo it too quickly. It's very easily done as a racing driver to see an opportunity go for the very first sign of any overtake. He runs all the way over to the left, maybe just keeping the truck a little bit more cool. Obviously doesn't want to run in the hot air of the truck in front when they don't lose anything by not using any slipstream or anything like that. All of these trucks are governed to 100 miles an hour or 160 kilometers an hour. So in a straight line, there's no point trying to squeeze every tiny mile an hour out of the thing. You're all going to eventually get to the same speed. There is John Newell, and there is the flat tyre. It was on the left rear, which is probably why I didn't see it earlier. I was looking for the right rear, but yeah, very flat left rear. That is not going to feel fantastic, I can tell you that for free. That machine will certainly feel a little bit naff, as we'd say in the UK, out of some of these corners. But if anybody knows John, they'll know he is a fighter and will continue to push to the very end of this race with everything he's got. Norbert Kiss trying the move now on Steffi Helm, trying to go around the outside of the first part of the chicane, which will be the inside for the second part. Nothing doing here. There's an incident between Rene Reinhardt and Clemens Hecker that's under review. Norby tries to get the cutback, doesn't quite work. We've had a 5-second penalty for Rene Reinhardt. I don't think he's had a single session this weekend where he's not had a penalty. He's having a nightmare weekend. So it's 5 seconds for going off the circuit and gaining an advantage. So Rene, unfortunately, again, under the observation of the stewards in this race. Looks like Jose Eduardo has sorted out the pace at the moment, because he was half a second quicker than Jochen Hahn on that last lap. Let's see what he's got now. Crosses the line. The timing line is quite early on the start-finish straight here at Zolder. 58.2 for Jose Eduardo, 57.3 for Jochen, though, so Jochen was nearly 9 tenths faster. Steffi Helm doing a 159.3, so 2 seconds slower than Jochen, but obviously defending from Norby on that lap. Both of them kissing the gravel on the exit of turn 1 there. We've had Mark Taylor under review for a third penalty marker, and I believe that will be a drive-through penalty if he has that found to, well, if he's guilty of that, basically. If he's found that he has hit the third penalty marker and gained an advantage from crossing the track limits like that. Obviously, if he doesn't serve that before the end of the race, it's a 30-second time penalty that gets added on. Norbert Kish all over the back of Steffi Helm there at Iveco. Certainly one of the widest Ivecos on the grid. Steffi is such a great defensive driver. As Norby has another look down the inside, starting to pile the pressure on more and more now, every single corner. Antonio Albacete in the mix as well. Race 901 for Antonio. In truck racing alone, that is, by the way. I don't think we clarified that earlier. It's his 900th race in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. In his career, he must have 2,000 races, at least. As down the inside, Norbert Kish makes the move at Boulderberg, Harspel Bocht. Don't think it works, though. Steffi's going to have the run on the exit because she had that wider line and was able to continue with the momentum. They were side by side as they left the corner. Norby goes from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, looks down the inside, maybe a little bit of contact, and Steffi holds the position as they exit the chicane. Great battling, lovely stuff. No further action for Mark Taylor on that penalty marker, so that's interesting. Makes it very, very interesting. We're just having a look at how the Chrome Championship would look, and after this, if it stays as it is now, Clemens Hecker would lead by 3 points, and he would also be 3 points ahead of Bradley Smith. So it's certainly anybody's game to win at this present moment. And the battle rages on. And Norby trying this way and that way to get by. Not working just yet. But it's not for lack of trying. Not for lack of trying at all. sits behind now into the chicane. Just trying to do the math, sorry, and it would be Bradley Smith still second in the Chrome Championship, but with just 2 points ahead to Taylor and 1 point behind Clemens Hecker. It would be crazy close. We'll figure it out once the race is completed, though. We can speculate every single lap as much as we want, but at the end of the day, there's a battle on for the race lead that we need to keep our eye on. I said in the preview for the weekend that Jochen Hahn had a great time here last year, especially with Lucas as well. His son was racing with us and they got an amazing family 1-2. Right now, he's having a battle with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on lap 9, going on to lap 10. Norbert Kish still behind Steffi Helm. Jochen Hahn no longer behind Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Makes the moves down the inside into turn 1. Lovely stuff. Jose Eduardo, nice and respectful, gives him the room, says, no, after you, sir. After you. And this could be Jochen's first race victory of the season. And there is nothing else that we can attribute it to other than me being on the grid and wishing him good luck. He's had a multitude of seconds and thirds this year. He's had 13 podium finishes before this race, but no race victory yet in 4 race meetings. But now he leads here at Zolder. Norbert Kish once again trying this way, trying that way, behind Steffi Helm. I just had a glimpse at it out the window, and they are somehow even closer than they look on the TV. It's brilliant when you see it flying past in the background. The 4 of them go over the crest of the hill. Antonio Albacete and Sasha Lenz have been really, really patient in this race so far, waiting for a battle to erupt in front of them. They've not been over-exuberant. They've not been throwing the truck down the inside or anything. They've not been making any unnecessary moves. They're holding station for some good championship points. And over the crest of the hill, down towards Boulderberg Haarspelt Bok they go. As you see, a lot of greenery around this circuit here, including the 100% renewable HVO diesel that powers all of our race trucks. The championship, not just the scenery, very green, of course. There's Rene Reiner. He has a 5-second penalty, and that will affect his overall result. At the moment, he is, how many seconds? He's 6 seconds ahead of Mark Taylor, so he won't lose that position if it finishes like this. Jochen Hahn across the line then to start the 11th and penultimate lap of this race, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in second position. Steffi Helm holding third. Can she hold off Norby for these final 2 laps? I think Norby is going to continue building and building the pressure. Little moment in the background there for Antonio Albacete. He runs wide at the first corner, and now Sasha Lenz wants a piece of that. There's a wheel arch there on the exit. As, oh dearie me, an under investigation Norbert Kish. We don't hear of that very often. Potential overspeeding for Norby. And it's very often, not to put a dampener on this, but it's not very often that that goes under investigation without a result. It is a very black and white system that they use to track these machines. It's a GPS-based signal. The only time it really gets thrown out is if there's a bridge or something that scrambles the signal of these GPSs, because here at Zolder in particular, where the final bridge is out of the final corner, is just at the point where the trucks are getting to 100 miles an hour or 160 kilometers an hour, which is their limit. And it's easy to step over that, but I think Norby is just as good as any other at keeping it under that speed. It's not very often that we see him be under investigation. I'm sorry to say that Stefan Faas is no longer in the race by the look of it. And he's completed 8 laps and not completed any more. He's over a lap down now, which is a massive shame. We'll have to keep our eye out on what that is. Norbert Kish on the grass trying to get past Steffi Helm. Steffi squeezing him to the inside. The marshals move out of the way to try and duck for cover. That must have been a pretty scary moment for the marshals indeed. Scary for us as well. Norbert Kish turned by Steffi Helm around in the middle of the straight. And a big, big accident. Into the wall goes Antonio Albacete. Huge moment and a big impact. Norby spins it beautifully to get it back on. Mark Taylor having to avoid. Antonio has managed to carry on, but I don't think the truck's going to go much further. I'm sure that will be a red flag, and yes, the race is neutralised to a red flag. Mark Taylor has come to a stop there. Let's have a look again. So it looked like Steffi and Norby just got stuck together on the exit of the chicane. Big contact. Antonio jumps out of the way, but there's nowhere for him to go, and he hits the wall and hits the front of Norby's truck as well. That was a scary impact. You can see the huge exhausts on these trucks from the turbochargers pointing down there. Now, as we have completed over 75% race distance, I believe that will be a result maybe from one lap prior. But Antonio's machine not moving any further. Steffi's truck, well, it looks like it's been in the walls, doesn't it? The bodywork flapping away. It's almost a byproduct of the Ivecos, is the bodywork like that. They have quite wide front bumpers, but both corners have taken a hit on the clips there, and there is Antonio's machine. You can see all the fluid coming out of it as well, running across the circuit. They've gone to recover that, and it was a big impact. Hopefully Antonio is okay. On initial inspection, other than the fluid that you can see dribbling out of the machine, it could be water from the brakes, but it could very much be that, I mean, the truck doesn't look as damaged as you'd expect from that big hit, but then again, it's not the fact that, you know, body panels have gone flying or anything. The trucks have made their way back around. Let's have another look at it then. So Norbert Kish was side by side with Steffi Halm. The two of them, I think they make wheel-to-wheel contact, and it sort of hops Steffi's truck into the side of Norby. And in very scary fashion, Antonio's truck bounces off the wall, bounces into Norby, and the two of them have a huge hit. The rest of the Chrome drivers have just come by our window here. Clemens Hecker leading the likes of Mark Taylor, Luke Garrett, Louis Requenco, Jonathan Andre. I think, is that Tim Frost down there? Antonio, great to see, able to jump out of the truck, and he's okay. Understandably, he'll be very frustrated. The paramedics are on the scene just to check and have a word with him and make sure he's all good. And now the recovery will begin. But Tim Frost, as you can see, I mean, you can tell by Tim's body language, he is visibly dejected, as you could imagine. But the main thing, Antonio is okay and able to walk away there. That was a scary looking incident. Let's have a look at some results then, shall we? This will be the result of the race. Jochen Hahn takes his first win of the season, not quite to the extent that he would have wanted to. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez second. Steffi Halm will take the third step of the podium, with Norbert Kish classified fourth and Antonio Albacete classified in fifth. Sascha Lenz was sixth ahead of René Reinert, who, even with his 5-second penalty, will finish ahead of Mark Taylor. Clemens Hecker was ninth ahead of Louis Requenco. Those guys complete the Chrome podium. Luke Garrett was next up ahead of Jonathan Andre, with Bradley Smith in 13th position ahead of John Newell. Stefan Kirsch classified 15th, and unfortunately, Stefan Faas 2 laps down in the end. The stewards will be investigating the incident between Norbert Kish and Steffi Halm, and obviously Norby was under investigation for overspeeding as well. So there's a lot to be decided after the race, so you can bet that tomorrow morning I'll have a lot to explain before our broadcast, but luckily we have time to record these things and go over them. But it's a massive shame to see the race end like that. And Tim, I mean, you can see he's normally such a happy, bubbly bloke, but yeah, he's clearly not too pleased there. But fingers crossed, everybody is okay. Norby carried on, at least he made it round another lap, and Antonio, we could see, was able to walk away from the truck. So they seem fine. Hopefully Steffi okay as well. Obviously she was right in the epicenter of that. Won't be pleased with the way that race ended, but she still secures herself a podium with the defensive driving. Jochen takes the race victory, and we'll get now a debrief from Steffi about what happened. Unfortunately, I don't speak much German, so I can't hear. She's explaining the situation to Diana Hahn and Jochen Hahn, as you can see. It seems to be a bit of body language of, what else was I supposed to do? Looking at the replay of it, we could see that, it looked like Steffi's truck sort of hopped in the air with wheel-to-wheel contact. Alice is down there to try and get a reaction, and we'll see whether we can hear from Steffi immediately after that one. Alice.
From Steffi, just Steffi? Hiya. Sorry to catch you straight after that, but a big incident there just from your side. What exactly happened?
It's always very quick. We were fighting for many laps, Nobby and me, and he was faster. He tried it a few times, and he was always fair. We gave us the space and the exit. And then when we come after the right-hander, I don't know the turn, what the medical center is, he went inside, he was on my back wheel, and he didn't reduce the speed, so I gave him the space for the chicane for the inside. The left-hander, I went on the outside with him, but he didn't give me the space then in that corner. I think he was too fast, so I cut, and then I don't exactly know. We had for sure a little contact, but then there was a massive oversteering. I don't know if it's because of my hit or the contact or why. Too much accelerating, I don't know. And then he spun directly in front of me, so I can go nowhere. And that was the problem, but I don't know. He was on the track again, so I think with him it's all okay, but Antonio, I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like quite a bit of damage to Antonio's truck. But like you said, you were having such a good fight up until that, and obviously getting on the podium, a good end of today.
Yeah, for sure. Finish on the podium is always good, but I would like to have a normal fight and no contact and no crashes. So I hope everything will be okay and we will be on the podium after.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Steffi. And we'll find out exactly what's going on with Antonio as soon as we can. Back to you, Chaz.
On it, she said that they had a really good fight up to that point. It was just a case of, they're both going for the same piece of road, and I think they definitely had some sort of wheel-to-wheel contact, which is why it sort of hopped sideways. But yeah, a big and scary incident. So hopefully all is okay after that one. But the result, as it stands at the moment, it's clearly a provisional result with a few investigations and things going on. Jochen and Clemens having a quick chat as well. It looks like we may hear from Jochen via Alice in just a moment. I'll just wait for confirmation before we throw down. We'll head back round to the podium, I think. But Clemens Hecker, another podium for him in Chrome. Second place to Mark Taylor in that fight, with Luke Garrett in fourth place behind Louis Riquenco. Let's go and speak to Alice and Jochen Hahn, shall we?
Thank you, Chaz. I'm here with our overall Race 2 winner, Jochen Hahn. Jochen, firstly, just talk us through the race from your point of view, getting the win. Great end to the day.
I cannot remember which time I win a race, So it's the first position in this season. I'm very proud, We make step by step. We have a fantastic race and we can overtake. So I'm really happy the first win, and I'm also very happy for my team, Everybody works hard on it, and now it's done.
And I know you're a little bit further ahead, but do you have any idea, speaking to some of the drivers, what happened behind you with that incident at the end?
No, I don't know. Racing, it's racing. And sometimes you must respect the driver before to do it careful. So we have walls here. We know we play with big tools, And I will not say I make no mistakes. Come on, I make really big mistakes. But in the end, nobody is damaged, so only the car. So from this side, all it's good. We have a good safety behind, and that's a good point on drag racing,
Amazing. Thank you very much, Jochen. So we're going to go now to Race 2 highlights. Over to you, Chaz.
Thank you, Alice. Again, some very, very busy action out there on the circuit, and a great second race indeed. Other than the incident that we saw, we obviously never wish that upon our competitors, but a very exciting second one. These reverse grids are always great entertainment. We had Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Mark Taylor on the front row of the grid, two drivers that have been fighting for the Chrome Championship over the last few years. A big go from all the engineers, as we often have, and an unfortunate first lap for Clemens Hecker, who dropped a number of positions, but it opened up a great fight in the Titan category. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez was at the front, hoping to run away, while the likes of Norbert Kish, Antonio Albacete, and of course eventual race winner Jochen Hahn were making their way through the pack. Steffi was in front of her teammate for a good portion of the race, but unfortunately succumbed to the move eventually down at the chicane. Stefan Kirsch and John Newell were having a good fight further down, but John's puncture really hindered his progress. And we saw a great chase from Norbert Kish and Steffi Halm. Really good respect between the two of them, and a lovely battle with Antonio Albacete and Sasha Lenz waiting in the wings. Jochen Hahn eventually took the race lead down at turn 1 from Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and started to open up the gap. But into the final moments of the race, unfortunately, this contact between Norbert Kish and Steffi Halm would involve Antonio Albacete in a big way, and the race would be red flagged 1 lap from the end. But by the look of it, everyone okay. Antonio able to walk away from that one, maybe just a little bit shaken. And fingers crossed, he's all good for tomorrow as well. Up onto our overall podium then, we have Steffi Halm in 3rd position, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and for the first race win of the year for Jochen Hahn, he heads up to the top step. And now the trophies will be handed over. Jochen gets the race winning trophy. I've never seen anybody do it like that. Fair play. It saves multiple trips to the podium. And all 3 trophies are handed out. And now we'll get the national anthem of Germany for Jochen Hahn. And many congratulations indeed for Jochen Hahn, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Steffi Halm, the 3 of them sharing the podium here this afternoon. And we're going to be doing a lot of calculating and maths here this evening to make sure, you know, with the penalties and all sorts that may come as a result of this race, who is leading what championship, how many points there are between them. It's mighty close between a lot of these drivers. So we're excited to see how the points look heading into Sunday, heading into tomorrow. I'll be on presenting duties again, so I'll do my best to do some of the maths for you. Make sure it's correct this time, unlike at Most when I got it all wrong. And hopefully we'll be able to give you the picture of how the championship looks. Champagne time for teammates Jochen Hahn and Steffi Halm. And Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has no escape either. Great fun. Really solid fun on the podium from... Oh, steady Jochen. Maybe it's gone to his head already. A good swig there, and a very well-deserved swig for Jochen Hahn. Put that in the trophy, put the trophy in the warehouse, and it'll be another bit of silverware to take home. Great stuff. And this is how the championship looks after that one. With the provisional result, of course, Norbert Kish leading the way with Jochen Hahn now on 223 points. That helps Steffi Halm lead away a little bit from Sasha Lenz, with René Reinert next up in 5th position. Then it is Antonio Albacete ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and then the big split back to Mark Taylor and Clemens Hecker, 43 points apiece for those guys. Bradley Smith completes the top 10 at present with 32 points. He's just ahead of Lucas Hahn. Stefan Faas is now tied with John Newell, with Louis Riquenco, Jonathan Andre and Luke Garrett completing our overall point scorers. Luke unfortunately missing some of those points after earlier on today. Louis Riquenco makes his way up to the podium. 3rd position for him in Chrome in the 2nd race of the day. Good to see Louis back on the podium for some more silverware. Another strong result for this man as well, Clemens Hecker, continuing on this fantastic run of form. Just looking now at his Chrome standings of late. And that is going to be his 5th podium, I believe, in 6 races. Mark Taylor, though, taking the win this time round. Great return to form for him. Back to the top step of the classification in Chrome. And he'll be really pleased to get those points, and that should launch him to the top of the Chrome Championship. 3rd position trophy goes to Louis Rikwenko, 2nd place to Clemens Hecker, and then our Chrome winner in that one, Mark Taylor. Well done to Mark, hard work from the team paying off, and now we'll get the national anthem of the UK. Big congratulations to Mark Taylor then for taking another victory in Chrome. This season that will be, I believe, his 5th class win. 12th podium though for Mark. He's had a lot of them so far this year. But it's the fact that he's either on the podium or getting a DNF. It's the unreliability that has unfortunately affected the overall picture of the championship. Champagne for these guys, and as I often say, they don't always spray each other. These guys are a little bit more tame with the champagne, but we'd like to see them soak one another a little bit. They think about it, they sort of look at each other a bit, don't they? They give one another a glance and go, nah. Another big swig from Louis Rikwenko. Great to see him back on the podium. Louis took a good few podiums earlier on in the season, but unfortunately no race victories for him in class so far this year. This is how Chrome looks then after that one. Clemens Hecker 1 point ahead of Bradley Smith, 2 points ahead of Mark Taylor. Incredible stuff in Chrome. Clemens Hecker now up to the top ahead of John Newell and Louis Rikwenko. Luke Garrett in 6th place ahead of Stefan Faas and Lucas Hahn, who had a perfect weekend at the Nürburgring earlier on in the season. Christian Ruppert on 54 points ahead of Jonathan Andre, who has his 2nd race meeting with us this weekend. Stefan Kirsch and Martin Matzik complete our 12-point scorers so far in 2025. So, that is going to be the end of today for me from a commentary perspective. We've got some wonderful interviews to go down to, and we will go to one now with Alice. I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Down to Alice.
Thank you, Chaz. I'm here with Chrome Race 2 winner Mark Taylor. Mark, first, well done on the win. Talk us through it from your side of things.
Yeah, it were a good race that way. I know we're on front, the people were behind, they had the pace. I knew I was battling hard, and I'm not in the battle with the Titans, so I might just let them go and have my own race and race what I'm in the Chrome. So, yeah, I'm happy.
And after that win for you in the podium earlier, the top 3 in the Chrome, if my quick maths is correct, is about 3 points separating the 3 of you. So a really good comeback after the difficult first day in Most.
Yeah, it's nice to have a good, strong comeback this week. And with all the work what's gone into the truck from Most till now, it shows the team that we are working well together. Everyone's working hard, and it's all out there so everyone can see.
And what about tomorrow? More again of the same?
Yeah, hopefully all the same, hopefully nice and dry again, and we'll carry on pushing to the end.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Mark, for your time. So that is all we have for you today. What a bit of a strange finish to that final race. We are back at 10:55 tomorrow morning for qualifying, so we will see you there bright and early with a nice cup of coffee to see who will take pole for the final 2 races of the weekend.